Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your board. P Farm, thinking right out here in the lab. Well, I do what I do for you. I got something good for you out the book today. Who's that? So I can get you excited because I get amped up. I got my little stuff and I'm ready to go. So let's do what we do. Writism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. The message and the story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in receiving them. I hope you're using it, working out for you. The numbers say you like it, so I'm gonna keep giving it to you. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers' way of life through a mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, and I'm on it to give you everything you need to know thyself. So all you gotta do, tune in, get your lesson, and put them to use. So far, so good. Let's rock. Do you know you? Know thyself is the question that all right thinkers should have an answer for themselves. If not, tune in. I'm gonna help you with that because that's the goal. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes or think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritual sleep. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers. Know thyself. And to Maya, be true. Speaking of Maya, we still here. This is some good information. I'm really excited. I'm gonna piggyback off the lesson I just gave you about what sage, liberated sage, how you see the world. Now we're gonna get a quick one in called Maya is that which is true from beginning to the end. You know how I feel about Maya. When I get done, hopefully you feel the same way too, because it's amazing. So let's talk about her right quick. Now, when we using our senses, five senses, in our mind, that gives us the information in the physical realm. But when we want to raise our conscious level, we have to take it to the next level of consciousness. That's where Maya comes in at. So let's get an understanding. This idea, what was that? No, we had up here. I want to do something up here. Okay, the mind and the senses can only perceive minuscule pieces of the truth. Maya is pure truth. So this is why you have to use a little more than just senses to learn and acquire her philosophy. So let's talk about it right quick. This idea may be likened to what? A group of blind people who are touching the pyramid. Okay. They used the elephant before. This time they used the pyramid. Same difference, but this is the concept. Right quick. Each one uses what? Their available senses to touch. One may think it's a slanted wall. Yeah, feel it. Yeah. Another may think it's a monument. Okay. Another may think it's a house. But all of these analyses are what? Preposterous for someone who has what? The faculty of what? Sight. All at once, the complete structure is taken in by the faculty of sight. And the all at once, the image is perceived in its entirety. No guesswork, no trying to, nope, nope, with sight. So if you ain't got sight, you got to rely on other things. They show you. This is the way in which, watch this, transcendental intuition works, as opposed to the mind and the senses. Here we go. The mind and senses construct your inner vision because you are what? Holding on to them. Why? Due to your ignorant understanding of your true nature, not knowing who you are. When I use the word ignorant, of yourself. That's what I'm saying. You don't know you. So don't get upset. And I'm not calling you dumb or stupid. You just don't know. I'm trying to give you the information so that you could know you. That's the point, and that's my goal. That's my intent. You are clinging to what? Your ego concept forces you to what? Use the mind and the senses, because only with the mind and senses is it possible to what? Perceive yourself as a separate ego personality. You must transcend, I keep telling you, the fear. Fear is what? False evidence appearing real. You must transcend that of giving up the what? Your ego. And dive what? Deeper into the transcendental realm of consciousness. Again, not just your senses. When you are able to do this, now you will what? Discover the deeper levels of consciousness which you possess, and you will view your ego and waking state of transitory extensions of your true self. Remember, when you don't know you, you just going through motion. When you get conscious of yourself, you realize there must be what? A deep transformation which reaches what? Down to the innermost reaches of what? Your heart, aka your subconscious and your unconscious levels of your mind. I got a whole bunch of stuff to say about that, but I know I'm on the clock. I'm trying to read it. Hope you can understand that. I keep telling you, heart mind coherence. When the conscious mind and the heart mind work together, you are one. Watch this. Otherwise, you will continue. Watch this. You will continue in the realm of conflict and continue what I call the holy war. What the other holy war? The battle of Haru and Set, good and evil, right, wrong. Okay, higher, lower. Would you want to live up? Lower, that's the ego. Higher, that's the Haru. That's the higher self. Watch this, and you will continue that conflict and will not be able to attain, excuse me, when you have that holy conflict, you will not be able to attain self-mastery over the mind. Why? Because you are in conflict with your own self. And this is the predicament of what? The lower mental state of consciousness, the I, the me, the that. And it is symbolized by what? The disintegration of what? The body of Asar. The ego tore up the soul out of jealous rage and fit. Okay, so it's not good. The hieroglyphic for the ego is a man with a hatchet to his head. He don't care about himself, well, a lot less than anybody else, but that's the whole idea. So the ego destroyed the body of Asar. Watch this. The mind is what? Chopped into many pieces, 14, some say 28, some say 72, but the idea is that the ego chops up the mind in many pieces. In reality, it is what? The delusion of the mind is ignorant. It's ignorance which causes it to what? To believe in the triad effect when the triad is transcended through the practice of what? Yoga, right thing philosophy, the mind and heart. Here we go, is what? Clear. I'm trying to get you to connect your heart, your mind, and your heart. Clear all the nonsense out so have one straight path. They work synonymous in harmony with one. Okay. And what this does, it clears your heart of what? All impurities, and is then worthy to behold that which is the only reality, which is my girl. It only happens when your higher self conquers your lower self, the ego self. The lower self is the ego. If you're running on egoism, you're never going to reach perfection with your higher self. That's the idea. Watch this. There is one most important factor in the spiritual discipline which must be accomplished in order to what? Be victorious over your lower nature. You want to know what that is? This factor is the effacement of the ego. Carry the ego, conquer the ego, put the ego to work for you. That's how. In order to approach God, you must act right, think right as God, according to what? The precepts of Maat, while losing your what? Identification with what? Your ego self as an individual personality and affirming what? Your innermost divine essence, which is the one with the supreme divine essence. I keep telling you, these teachings or right thing philosophy are to be practiced when at all times, daily, and under all conditions. You need to live, do, and be your best self no matter what. I'm going to do what's right because that's the right thing to do. If you're going to live that lifestyle, that's the mindset you have to have. If you want to do me, you can't be giving selfish service. Why? Because it's all about me. You selfish. You ain't with that. I got a little bit more to go. I got a nice little time. I can get all this in. Hopefully, let's go. But now, the practice of right thinking, aka philosophy, virtuous living, must include what? The effacement again of the ego. You can't do nothing if the ego is in the way. It It is to what? Reach its heights. You cannot become perfectly free of desires, vices, ulterior motives, jealousy, greed, lust, and so forth if you're what? Internally harboring egoism within yourself. The idea I am an individual, that's all ego. The perfection of what? The virtue of virtue. A virtue means what? That you have a keen understanding of these. It is what? Whoa, whoa, whoa. You are whoa, whoa, I missed all that. Sorry about that. The perfection of virtue means that you may have a keen understanding that you are what? Not the body. Again, the essence inside the body. You're not even the mind or your senses. The desires or the cravings, etc. That's all egoistic concepts. And if you still have them, you can't raise your conscious level. You have to get that out the way, so to speak. Watch this. You are beyond these. It is this idea which allows you to what? Rise above pettiness, greed, egoistic desires, and it also allows you to what? Restrain yourself and refrain from what? Engaging in activities with what? Which you know from the beginning will bring only disappointment and frustration in the long run. If I'd known that then, I wouldn't have done that. So when you're ignorant of something, you're going to do it until you find out for yourself. Experience is the best teacher in life. I found out the hard way. That's not always the best way, but it's a surefire way to learn. Wrap this up. Now let's talk about right quick. Meditation and the discipline of Maya philosophy. I love this. Right quick. I got a few minutes. I got a little half a paragraph, so I'm running through it right quick. But they says searching for oneself in the world is a pursuit of an illusion. Egyptian proverb. Okay, moving on. When the yoga of wisdom and what we practice right thing philosophy in action is what perfected. Watch this. There is an intensification in your awareness of what? Every thought and feeling which courses through the mind. You have total control of what's going on upstairs. Every single action which you perform or contemplate and every single perception that enters the mind is at what? The forefront of your awareness. You're paying attention, you're focused. You ain't all over the place. Again, like my ass feather, don't move. No longer are you blindly following the whims of your senses, how you feel and what you think, and that nonsense is That roller coaster is up and down. No longer, watch this, do you say or do things without what? Thinking first. No longer are you a slave to what? The degraded thoughts and feelings of the mind, and no longer do you feel compelled to run after those desires of the body. I tell young people, at this point in my life, a girl naked run by, no big deal. Back then, oh, I'm chasing that. See the difference? Okay, it's still the same thing, but I changed. The body's still the body. No. You have to make the change consciously. So that's what I'm trying to show you. When you do the things that you need to do for you, that's all that matters. Oh yeah. Now, the imaginations, here we go, and the fancies of the mind with respect to objects and people are gradually what reduced. I think less and less of things that I used to think a lot about. Simple. It's a known. If you knew better, you should do better. So when you're acquiring knowledge of self, you should live better with that knowledge. No longer will you pursue what? Here's the best one right here. Objects that make you happy. We all got new things. We all require stuff that we just thought we had to have. And when you get it, that's the whole point. It don't last. So understand that. If you're just gonna keep fulfilling your ego, have your ego massaged by getting stuff and being somebody people like the, that nonsense, go for it. In the end, no longer will you search for happiness through what? Relationships with others, looking for love in all the wrong places, trying to find happiness in other people. It's like God, internal. No longer will you try to what? Fulfill your needs through the world. When you reach that point, you have become an enlightened being. You're a master right thinker. That's the goal, to make all the stuff not be important to you. What's important is inside you. Your heart will what? Begin to expand. What? Beyond measure. And your fulfillment will run over. I'm about to get misty. Because for a while there, I went to this, man, I cried like that. I couldn't stop. I said, man, what is this crying thing about? That was my empathy. That was me just letting it out. And I got over it, but man, that was crazy. That I didn't, trust me. That's what that point just right there. Yeah, it run over. I don't cry out of pain. I don't feel no. I cry out of joy. And I just like a Baptist idiot. I lose it. So I get that point. I've been there too. And it's okay. Moving on and wrap it up. When you worship or you showing devotion to the divine and you're conscious and wisdom is in action, you are what? To secure path. You got two secure paths for the what? The majority of people, watch this. For this reason, the ancient sages enjoined various deities or faces of the divine and various ethical precepts in order to allow the masses of people to what? Develop spiritual sensitivity, aka knowledge, according to their capacity. However, your knowledge understanding is that's where he's gonna meet you at. I tell you, if I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna meet you at the level I can relate to you. I do a lot of scripture stuff. Why? Because there's a lot of people no scripture. So that's what this is saying, according to their capacity. The beauty of this teaching, watch this, right thing philosophy, is that it is simple and available to what? Everyone. From 8 to 80, blind, crippled, and crazy. I don't pick and choose. So that's the point again. Anyone may what? Practice right thinking philosophy, aka Maat, while performing any action and wherever they may be. In the highest stages of practice, you, the participant, right thinker, is led to what? Develop identity with what? Or who? The divine. With one pointed concentration. When this occurs, what happens? There is an awakening of the mind from all of the lower states of consciousness into what? A transcendental state of enlightenment, aka nihas or know thyself. Almost there, almost up. Mayat, again, shows what truth and what illusions, the difference between the two. Mayat provides what? A higher idea for human existence and the means to attain it. Again, we laid out the 42 confessions. You live by them, your life will change. I'm attest to that one too. And that means to what? Attain the higher goal of nihas or know thyself. When the mind is trained to follow Maya, the impurities cause ignorance in the mind and which fettered the soul are what? Destroyed. Ding, 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 ding. When the ignorance of the mind is rent asunder through what? Wisdom of what Maya, the soul will assume its true nature. That's what I'm talking about. And thereby transcending Maya and becoming one with the divine is right thinking philosophy's goal for all right thinkers to do just that. I'm wrapping it home, wrapping it up, I'm taking it home. And in this manner, once having done it, cleansing, having done its cleansing work, like the soap, is rinsed away along with the dirt, leaving what? Purity alone in its original essence in much the same way that soap is not the goal of cleanliness, but it means to it, a means to it, excuse me. The wisdom of Maya is what? A means to what? Unity with God. When the practice of right thinking philosophy or Maya is perfected, the practice ceases and one becomes one with Maya. That's the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. I sure enjoyed giving it. I got more.